Well, hello there, how is everyone? You amazing, beautiful, wonderful people. I hope you are all well on this fantabulous Friday. Yes, I am still moving, so it's all a bit up in the air and mental at the moment, so thank you very much for bearing with me. You are amazing people, and I'm glad that you are here. And I just want to go through a doc with you. I'll put it sort of on the screen somewhere as we work our way through it. But I will be reading off notes until the studio's back up and fully working again, which will be a few weeks. But it says, come now, right? Brian C. Coburg, buying through his attorneys of record and hereby objects to the state's motion in limine to admit self-authenticating records. And I'm not going to read through this entire doc, but what this is focusing on is the 51 terabytes or 50 plus terabytes of evidence in the Brian Coburg case. Because there's so many people who are out in the community who think that Brian Coburg has done this crime. How could he not have done this crime? Because there is just so much evidence. And we're talking about, 50 odd terabytes. And that is a massive amount of data. But I just want to go through some of the excerpts of this document just to show you what the problem has been with respect to the defense and how the prosecution have been burying information. So what the process should be is that you've got someone accused of a crime, and you've got the prosecutors who are prosecuting them, and then you've got the defense team who are on the side of the person being accused. So what happens is the prosecution get all the evidence that supports what they're going to say in court, the evidence of that, the evidence of the accusations, and they give them in good time to the defense in their entirety, right? So that gives the defense time to prepare a defense, because that's a fair system. This is what we've got as evidence, this is what we're bringing, and this is what we're actually going to show you and leaving it with you. That's how it should be, and that is done through requests for discovery. And what do we know in the Idaho 4 cases? There has been multiple, up in the 20s of requests for discovery. Now, some people will turn around, especially guilters, they'll turn around and say, well, there's nothing odd about that. That's normal. And maybe for some cases it is. Maybe for some really complex cases it is. But we're supposed to believe that this ain't really that complex. We've got a guy who drove from Washington to Moscow, Idaho, enters into a house, kills 4 people, leaves a knife sheath there with DNA on it, and that leads them to him. So basically, the stupidest motherfucker that you've ever come across in your entire life done this crime and got caught because he's fucking stupid. Drove his own car, took his phone, shut it off, turned it back on before it even got home, and left a witness and a knife sheath on the side. That's what they want you to believe. So with respect of the evidence, you'd think that would be pretty plain sailing, clear cut, but that's been anything but. But these are the excerpts, right? So we've got this, so this is one situation, right? So it says, we'll skip to, because all of these are pretty much the same. So you've got this situation here, Albertson Clarkson's video surveillance and business records for November 13th, 2022, hard drive provided on the 5th of the 4th, 2023. This is a surveillance recording that is about 3 gig in size. The file contains multiple views that cover about a 2-hour time block. The state has not provided any specifics related to what it intends to rely on or use as evidence, nor a certificate that the videos was made and kept in the course of regularly conducted business activity, and if it was the regular practice of that business to make the report or record. No certification for this footage establishing the criteria required exists. So that's one. We've got Mr. Coburger, and this is a police report from Michael Douglas, not the actor, from Fallen Down. Awesome film. This is a cop, this is. So it says, Mr. Coburg objects specifically to AV-832 as it is a police report and the prosecution must have a witness to testify about the contents of a police report. He objects to the rest of the requested documents because the records are not a complete record. The court should consider Mr. Coburg's motion to exclude all Amazon records and expert testimony in conjunction with the state's request. On March 2nd, 2025, the state filed expert opinions related to Amazon records some 3 months after its expert disclosure deadline. So it took them 3 months longer than they are actually deadline. But like with the alibi situation, they're trying to say that Brian Kohberger, they're trying to stop him from bringing as much as they can, while simultaneously they can just bring stuff in as and when they want to. But anyway, that's by the by. Check this out. So Mr. Kohberger notes that these records are one copy of several copies obtained during the course of the case. And these are the AT&T phone records, right? This phone folder also contains records relating to someone else. The state has not provided any specifics related to what it intends to rely on or use as evidence, nor a certificate that records where it was made and kept in the course of regularly conducted business activity, and if it was a regular practice at the business to make the report or record. The Kohberger seeks exclusion of these records based on the state's incomplete expert disclosures and should not be an allowed method of circumventing those failures. You've got this one here, Cafe Artisto video surveillance, right? So the disclosure contains still photos as well as multiple files of recordings. The total amount of video footage available is around 2 hours. The state has not disclosed what portion of the video it tends to use, whether it was made and kept in the course of regularly conduct business activity, and if it was the regular practice of the business to make the record of recording. And this goes on, right? So we've got another one, surveillance video for November 13th. This surveillance is up to 10 cameras and runs for approximately an hour. The state provides no disclosure of what segments of these videos it intends to use or how they comply with yada yada yada. Costco. This surveillance is up to 10 cameras and runs approximately for an hour. The state provides no disclosure of what segments of videos can do. Do you know what I mean? So this is what, and there is multiple of these, a massive list of them. The cannabis coat, Floyd's cannabis coat, right? Surveillance video, November 13th, hard drive provided on the 5th of the 4th, 2023. The surveillance in this disclosure comes from 2 separate cameras and has multiple views. The state has not provided any specifics related to what it intends to rely on and use as evidence nor certificate, yada, yada, yada. So what we're trying to say here is this is burying a case. And it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that. If you've got, it's like giving someone everything, absolutely everyone. And we've said this from the start, but people don't want to listen. People don't want to listen. And you'll get people, especially guilters, will turn around and say, well, it's not the state's job to do Ann Taylor. It's not the state's job to do Ann Taylor's job. You know, she should get off her ass and start looking at what she needs to look at. But no, that's not how this works. And fuck you for saying it. Because this is about the state giving over the relevant information that's pertinent to the case. If you've got something on a camera that you're going to bring forward, then show the fucking thing. Give it to the defence so they know what it is. Because you can bet your bollocks to a barn dance, they're not going to be playing 10 different videos, an hour of all these different shots in the courtroom. They won't. If they've got something on the camera, they will know they've got something on the camera and they'll bring that segment of video to the forefront of it. What we're seeing in this case, this is about playing games. This is about playing games, manipulating little bits of evidence and pushing them out to the masses, packaged in a certain way that it makes people feel a certain way about it. And that seems to be what this entire Idaho 4 case is. It's about playing with people's minds to get them to feel a certain way about certain things and weaponising that. And that happened for so long because of the gag order being in place, and it's got to stop. This case should just be about the facts, absolute facts, and every single fact should have a chain of command so that should be followed, so you know what happened, when it happened, how it happened, and everybody can follow it. The layman can follow it. The jury can follow it. Because the danger is bullshit baffles brains, and this case has got so much bullshit around it that there's going to be some real confused people at the end of this. And are they going to make a judgment based off being confused and being tricked into feeling a certain way about a certain thing? Let me know down below, and I'll catch you all tomorrow. Mwah.